Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at a bunch of newer Yu-Gi-Oh cards coming out into the game, and finally Chronomalys are getting some new support, and on top of that, Gusto is even getting some support over here, which is really awesome news. And Pendulum players, you guys are going to get one of the best Pendulum card support cards in a really long time. If you're excited about that, drop a like on this video, and on top of that, we're not done. We still got more support for the Doremichord archetype for the few players that are still playing that deck, trying to manage to make that deck work. But let's go and kick it off with the new Chronomalys, as we never really got a chance to see them really do anything too much in the TCG meta. But anyways, starting right off, let's go ahead and check out their new continuous spell card called the Chronomaly Palace Trillathon over here, and here is the artwork on this. So it's a continuous spell card that has the effect of you can only use this card's name first and second effects once per turn each. The first effect is if you control no monsters, all monsters you control are Chronomaly monsters, you can pay 500 life points to special summon one Chronomaly monster from your hand. I'm guessing this is like, or all monsters are Chronomaly. I'm guessing that's the translation. But anyways, the second part of it says, if your Chronomaly exceeds monster or number exceeds monster would activate its effect by detaching material, you can send this card from to the graveyard instead of one of those materials. Okay, that's pretty good, just being able to have the ability to go and extend your plays, as that deck is all about OTKing. If you guys remember, Chronomaly's had a lot of different methods to OTK your opponent. But just having another way to like maybe recover or go for a secondary play can be quite nice. But next up though, we have another monster card for them called the Chronomaly Magella Globe, and here is the artwork on it. It's a level 4 with 1500 attack, 300 defense points, and it is going to be a light machine effect monster. It says that you can only use this card's name first and second effects once per turn each. The first effect is you contribute this card to special one Chronomaly monster from your deck, except for Chronomaly Magella Globe. The second part is if this card is in your graveyard except the turn it was sent there, you can banish one Chronomaly card from your graveyard except for Chronomaly Magella Globe and add it right back to your hand. Okay, that works really well. I mean, that's an insanely good card. No restrictions, doesn't like negate the effects or have any restrictions. Realistically, that's an amazing card for them for sure. Next up though, we have the Chronomaly Kambaro figure over here, and here is the artwork on this. It looks like it's going to be a level 5. It's going to be a earth rock effect, 1000 attack, 1800 defense points, and it says you can only use this card's name first and second effects once per turn each. The first effect is if a Chronomaly monster or monsters you control would be destroyed by a battle or an opponent's card effect, you can discard this card instead. The second part is if this card is in your graveyard, you can pay 1000 life points to special summon this card, but return it to the hand during the end phase. And then the next part of it says that you cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate this effect, except for Chronomaly monsters. Okay, so you're pretty much probably locked into that anyways, but that's a pretty decent little card over there, because obviously you're just gonna go have more extenders. Now let's check out their newer like exceeds monsters, because that's what the archetype was really all about in the first place. Let's see if they're any good. So the first one we're going to be taking a look at is the Chronomaly Vimana over here, and here is the artwork on it. 2300 attack, 2600 defense points, and it's going to be a light machine, exceeds rank 5. So 2 level 5 monsters. It says once per turn, as a quick effect, you can target one face-up monster on the field, add one Chronomaly monster or exceeds monster in your graveyard. The first target gains attack equal to the second target's until the end of this turn. Then attach the second target to this card as material. Wow, okay, that's pretty good. And then the second part, once per turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect, as a quick effect, you touch two materials from this card to negate the activation. Okay, decent little effect over there for sure. Being able to have negates is always good. And then next up we have the Chronomaly Esperanza Glyph, which is a normal trap card, and here is the zoomed up artwork on that. And it's going to have the effect of you can only activate one card with its card's name per turn. The first part of it says during the main phase, target one exceeds monster card you control or in your graveyard to special summon 2 Chronomaly monsters from your hand, deck, and or graveyard that are 1 level higher than that monster's card's ranks, but their effects are negated. And if you do it immediately after this effect resolves, exceeds summon 1 Chronomaly exceeds monster using only those 2 monsters. So pretty good, like one card. There's also Exceeds Reborn, which I don't really feel like many players really got to utilize in like the history of Yu-Gi-Oh for like some of those like support cards. Anyways, next up, we have the Antagonistic Intelligence Misaya. Okay, this is, I don't even know what this is for. Anyways, here's the artwork on it. It's a pendulum scale of 0. So looks like some more pendulum support over here. But anyways, level 8 light Cyber's pendulum effect monster, 2500 attack, 3,000 defense points. Pendulum scale is 0. The pendulum effect is any non-monster card sent to the graveyard is banished instead. Okay. That could be okay for some archetypes. I don't know. Anyways, monster effect. You can only use this card's name's first monster effect per turn. The first part of it is you can reveal this card in your hand to add one other pendulum monster from your hand or one card from your pendulum zone to the extra deck face up. And if you do, special summon this card. The second part is if another monster or monsters is normal or special summon while this card is in the monster zone, activate this effect, send that monster or monsters to the graveyard during the end phase of this turn. Well, more than likely, they're just going to get rid of that card anyways. Interesting little effect over there. Next up, though, we have more Doremichord support over here, which is good because this archetype desperately needs cards to make it actually viable. But anyways, the Grand Doremichord Musia over here. It is going to be a link 2 with 1900 attack, and the link zones are going to be in the bottom left and bottom right, and materials are 2 pendulum monsters. And it says you can only use this card's name first and second effects once per turn each. The first part of the effect is during your main phase. You get to add 1 pendulum monster from your hand to your extra deck face up, and if you do, add 1 face up pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand with an odd pendulum scale if the first monster had an even pendulum scale, or with an even pendulum scale if the first monster had an odd pendulum scale. Second part is when you pendulum summon a Doremichord monster or monsters, you can target one of them, add 1 Doremichord pendulum monster with a level equal to the targeted monster's pendulum scale from your deck to your hand. Okay. And that is Doremichord. Now we got the Gusto stuff over here, which I'm actually kind of excited to see if it's actually going to be viable enough. But anyways, starting off with the first card, the Gusto Feather over here. Here is the artwork on this guy. And he's got the attack of 600, 1,000 defense, and he's going to be a level 3 wind monster. Wing Beast Tuner effect monster. So anyways, the effect is you can only use this card's name first and second effects once per turn each. The first part of the effect is if a face-up Gusto monster is destroyed by battle or sent to your graveyard and this card is in your hand, you can just special summon this card. The second part of it is if this card is normal or special summon, you get to send 1 Gusto monster from your deck to the graveyard, then you can special summon 1 Gusto monster from your hand. Okay, interesting little effect over there. As like Gustos definitely were like a floater archetype. However, floater archetypes have been really phased out in Yu-Gi-Oh! I would say they're just way too slow. But let's check out their new Synchro monster, and maybe this will make them a lot more powerful. So this is Daigusto Rapram-Pilica. Anyways, level 6 Wind Psychic Synchro effect monster. The attack is unknown. Okay, we don't know the attack, we don't know the defense, but we know the effect, and that's probably the most important thing. Anyways, materials are a 1 tuner plus 1 plus non-tuner Gusto monsters. It says you can only special summon Daigusto Rapram-Pilica once per turn. First part of it says if this card is synchro summon, you get to activate this effect. You can't special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except for wind monsters. Also special summon 2 Gusto monsters, 1 from your hand and 1 from your deck, but their effects are negated. If you do, immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon 1 Gusto synchro monster using only those 2 monsters. So basically make this, and then you get like, basically this is like a free extra card then, right? And then the second part is your opponent cannot target other Gusto synchro monsters you control with card effects. So I guess you get to protect your other monsters for free because you kind of bring this out to bring out another one, but the other card still has to be from your hand. I'm not sure if this is what they need. Let's see what the rest of the support is, though. Gusto Tailwind is a new equip spell card for the Gusto archetype, and here's the artwork on it. Definitely has quality artwork. Anyways, equip spell card, equip only to a Gusto monster. You can only use this card's name second and third effects once per turn each. First effect is the equipped monster cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. The second part is during your main phase, you get to activate one of these effects based on the equipped monster's level/rank. If it's 4 or lower, you get to special summon a Gusto monster with a different type from your deck. 5 for higher, special summon 1 level 1 tuner from your deck. That's a pretty good effect, and it doesn't even have to be a Gusto tuner. It's just 1 level 1 tuner. The third effect is you get to banish this card from your graveyard and discard 1 wind monster to add a Gusto spell/trap from your deck to your hand. And it doesn't even say this. It does count as Gusto card, and it doesn't say you can't re-add back this card. Okay, so you can start maybe setting up the graveyard and then like recycle this card, get the extra like setups. So that could be like an okay card. I'm not sure if anyone is going to be able to really take use of this in other archetypes, because this effect alone is really insane. But it would have to be a 5 or higher to be really good. I don't know. Maybe someone will figure out like a way to like combo Gustos to summon a Gusto and then like they just run the equip spell, and then, or even just banishing it, discarding a win to go for another. There could be some interesting interesting mix-ups with this card for sure. And then we got an insanely good Pendulum card. For any of you Pendulum players, you're definitely going to be wanting to play this card. This is called Pendulum Treasure. It's so good. It's a normal spell card that says you can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. Add one Pendulum monster from your deck to your extra deck face up. I mean, that's a simple effect, but that is absolutely amazing for so many Pendulum decks. It's going to make them so much more consistent, so much more viable to get like that one specific card to finally be summoned like really consistently. And I think this is going to really make people really want to play Pendulums again. This card is insane. I mean, the Metal Foes would obviously really help them out too. But this card is just absolutely amazing. But anyways, let me know your guys' thoughts down below on any of the new cards that we talked about. You guys think they're going to be impacting the meta, or if you guys know any cool combos or ideas, let me know in the comment section below. But anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. And if you enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If you're new here and you do want to see more new Yu-Gi-Oh cards as soon as they get announced, I'm your guy. But anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a good one. I'm signing out. Peace.